There's this absolute unhinged weirdo called In Praise of Shadows that everyone seems to be talking about right now, and let me just start off by saying someone needs to give this guy his meds back because he's actually gone insane. He posted this horrifying piece of garbage called Bad Conservative Horror Movies, which he's now since completely removed from his channel. Which, first of all, bro, like, how does this guy even have 400k subs? Like, seriously, this thumbnail looks like it was made in 1985. Bro, my grandma could craft up a better thumbnail in Microsoft Paint. He originally had to delete like a whole 30-minute segment from his video because of all the hate and backlash he was getting, which he's now obviously deleted the entire video of his channel because this whole situation just escalated to a point where his career's over. He's committed career suicide on YouTube, and there's absolutely no coming back from all this stuff that he's done. So the video is supposed to be about bad horror movies, but for some reason he just ends up waffling about all this random pointless stuff that has no relation to the topic of the video. He ends up calling out all of these YouTubers and just completely slandering their names using some of the worst arguments I've ever seen in my life. He ends up just slamming this other YouTuber called Wendigoon, who I'm not really that familiar with, but like for literally no reason, and he just makes such outrageous claims against him. Like he starts ranting and complaining that Wendigoon is rich and grew up in upper class and like was raised in the same house his whole life, so his perspective on horror, it means nothing, and he can't have an opinion on horror or writing or whatever. Like it's just such crazy, stupid jealousy that just turns into this extreme hate for Wendigoon. But he goes on and like dives down this huge rabbit hole, just completely taking so much stuff out of context. He ends up trying to use all of this evidence that he finds to paint Wendigoon as this insane, gun-loving, Nazi, LGBTQ hater, which is just insane. To put it in perspective, one of the arguments that he uses against Wendigoon is that he frequently wears Hawaiian shirts in his videos, and there's a hate group out there that, by the way, he has nothing to do with, who also wears Hawaiian shirts as like their signature. His argument means because he wears the shirts, he's a supporter of the group and supports their views. Like the whole situation's been going on for long enough now that he's actually made an apology, if you'd even call it that. It's more like a, hey guys, you know, I'm sorry that you're mad, but my point still stands. Like everything I said's still true, and you're taking everything I said out of context. Which is ironic because all he does in this 3-hour long video is take everything out of context, but instead he just tries to paint all these YouTubers as Nazis. Like it is insane. But yeah, this guy's actually so screwed, and he knows it as well. Like he's having a complete meltdown about the whole situation. He's deleted the video, he's kicked himself off Twitter, and now he's like crying on Discord, basically asking his fans, you know, guys, please, can I just avoid the whole situation? Can we just go back to normal? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. He's now claiming that because of all the hate, he's going to go broke and he's not going to be able to support his family or whatever, which is horrible. Obviously, I don't really want that to happen to him. But in the video he deleted, he gets all salty about Wendigoon and tries to compare himself by saying, oh, you know, Wendigoon's famous and I only make $500 a month off of YouTube. Like, I can't live. Which for a channel with 400,000 subs sounds like just complete cap. And surely at that point, you just find yourself a real job. But anyways, let's get into some context here. So basically, this whole video is just him slandering a bunch of YouTubers' names. I don't really know many of them, but in this specific part of the video, he starts off by stating that Wendigoon isn't who he portrays himself to be, and that he's actually a huge, extreme right-winger Christian.
If you're not aware, Wendigoon is a horror conspiracy theorist YouTuber with several million subscribers, that, as you will hopefully come to see, should not be seen as the wholesome, southern-friendly dad persona that he has publicly constructed around himself in the past several years, and that, like many people who talk about being Christians as much as he does, has a dark past with deep ties to far-right extremism.
Like, I don't know much about politics and I really just don't care, but you'll come to see that all the evidence that he uses to prove all of his points is just so stupid. Like, it's actually just straight slander. I also don't understand how being a Christian has anything to do with anything at all. But yeah, after this, he just starts off the whole segment with him just being completely jealous of Wendigoon's wealth and fame for some reason. Like, actually trying to compare himself, straight up waffling about how Wendigoon grew up rich and he got famous at 19 and he was like raised in the same house his whole life. Like, what? Like, as if that has anything to do with him being a bad person.
We share a similar focus on topics that we like to write about, but our similarities basically end there. I have no need or desire to hear 5 hours of opinions on Blood Meridian from a 21-year-old millionaire who got famous around the age of 19.
What the actual fuck does being a 21-year-old millionaire have to do with anything at all? Like, this is his first point in the argument, that Wendigoon is young and rich. Like, I have no desire to listen to a young kid who is rich. Like, this is just throwing it out there for no reason. And he continues to do this for like 3 minutes, bringing it up over and over again.
What I'm talking about here pertains to the very act of writing itself. And with that, perspective. And I don't know if you can actually really truly be a good cultural critic with a voice that has a definitive perspective without several years of genuine, independent, lived experience away from the home that you were raised in. And in his case, he became exceptionally wealthy by the time that he was 19 or 20.
This is just straight jealousy right here. You can tell that this In Praise of Shadows nerd just wants to be him so bad. He just rants on like this for ages, honestly, just complaining that Wendigoon is rich and famous, so he knows nothing about horror. Like, that has anything to do with his perspective on writing. Like, this... What is going on? Oh, he's just so rich. He was born in the same house, like, and he's... Like, this is so unfair, guys. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what does that even mean? Seriously, he was born and raised in a house. Boom! Guys, this guy's a Nazi. This guy doesn't deserve to talk about horror. This guy should be... Seriously, can we please cancel him right now? He was raised in a house. Like, this isn't even a valid argument in any way. He's obviously just jealous of Wendigoon for being rich and he has the same interests as him. Like, he's like, oh, I talk about horror. Why can't I be rich and famous like Wendigoon?
And so if you leave the home and immediately become famous and rich, without having to ever actually truly struggle, can you be considered to have ever actually had lived experience at all that would qualify you to give criticism on works of art about the experience of average and poor people? I would argue not. And if that is the case, why would your perspective matter as a critic? Not to mention the fact that Wendigoon was raised in a very wealthy family. He himself has inadvertently admitted that his family at one point had millions of dollars.
Oh my god, guys, this is bad. His family had $1 million. Like, what even is this video, bro? Oh my god. There's also a clip where he just lets the jealousy shine right through even more, talking about how much he makes off of YouTube. Like, bro, I don't make any money off of YouTube. This is just so unfair. I make like $500 a month. I can't live off this.
There was a month last year where I only made $500 in ad revenue. I can't live off that. The amount of times that I've almost had to stop making videos since then has been almost monthly. I've barely been able to keep this afloat.
Like, bro, first off, no one cares that you make dog shit money. That's just not something you need to bring up. All you're doing is making yourself look like more of a clown by saying that. And second of all, that's literally your fault. Your videos are arse. Look at the thumbnails, dude. Seriously, I don't even know how you have this many subs. It's baffling to me. Like, bro, imagine these aren't even real subs. Like, all the people who watched this video just hit the subscribe button out of pure pity for him. Like... No shit, you make $500 a month. Look at your thumbnails. Honestly, I'm surprised you make any money at all. But yeah, he just keeps bringing it up multiple times that Wendigoon's a young millionaire. Like, Wendigoon is a young millionaire. He was raised in the same house. He's so rich and famous. Why am I not famous? Guys, seriously. This doesn't even scratch the surface of how bad this video is. This is just him being jealous. The rest of it is him actually just slandering him.
There are many things that are red flags that we could talk about, from the bizarre gun ownership, the flagrant use from my perspective of his religion as a shield from criticism.
Like, there's actually no way this guy's serious. Like, this actually just has to be straight satire. Like, bro, what is wrong with owning guns? Like, I live in a country where guns are, like, completely banned, so I don't really have much of a take on this, apart from how does owning guns legally make you a bad person? Also, he slipped a little cheeky one in there, saying that he uses his religion as a shield from criticism. That is such a reach. I don't know how anyone on this planet would be, like, why would anyone even do that, first of all? Second of all, if you are Christian, I don't care. Like, you're not above criticism because you're religious. If you ran over a person and you said, oh, guys, actually, I love Jesus, so you can't... I don't give a... I'm still gonna talk shit on your name. Seriously, I'm gonna roast you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just completely insane for him to be saying this. This is just loser Twitter, degenerate Reddit user talk. Like, honestly, this is just completely outrageous, but not as outrageous as the part I'm about to show you.
We could talk about his past and supposedly being a founding member in an online conspiracy theory group that, according to him, snowballed out of control into being a white supremacist neo-Nazi organization called the Boogaloo Boys. His online username at the time was Boogaloo Boy, and he claims to be the first to have started using it, but that he left the group and became Wendigoon after things started to get out of hand.
So yeah, like, I get what he's trying to say here, but he literally left the group because it got bad. Like, it's not his fault at all. It's just a huge reach that he's just trying to, like, grab out of his ass to try and paint Wendigoon as a bad person again. But this is where it gets real bad.
Also, it should be noted that the Boogaloo Boys are known for wearing Hawaiian shirts. And guess who else always has on a Hawaiian shirt?
Like, bro, what is going on here? There's no way he actually just said this shit. Do you wear shoes? Yeah, I wear shoes. You know who else wore shoes? Like everyone on planet Earth. Hitler did. Ha! I knew you were a Nazi. Guys, let's cancel him. Like, what is going on? Wendigoon has literally stated that he has nothing to do with the group and he doesn't support their beliefs. Like, this is just some straight up Joe Rogan conspiracy right here. This guy's obviously gone way too far down the rabbit hole and he's just reaching for whatever he can find down there. Also, I don't know if he's aware, but he's literally wearing a Hawaiian shirt in the video, which makes me kind of believe that this whole thing might actually just be satire. But like, it can't be satire because he's literally having like a full-blown meltdown about the whole situation. Yeah, then he tries to use this little diss to make himself look good. Like, bro, just watch closely on this clip.
I'm just saying that if at the very least I, in any way whatsoever, somehow accidentally, inadvertently, started a hate group, I wouldn't continue to still dress like them if it were me. It would make me look like I still believed in their cause. If I accidentally started a hate terrorist organization, I wouldn't rebrand as a horror YouTuber the next year, and instead would try and fight that ideology as much as I could.
Guys, if I ever did this, I would never wear the same clothes as the hate group. I'd rather walk around naked than have any association with that. Like, look at the smirk on his face. This guy obviously knows what he's doing here. You might as well pop a little nerd emoji on his face. Like, can you even tell the difference? Here, let me add a little finger emoji to make it more realistic. If it were me, I wouldn't do that. Like, yeah, bro, you're such a great guy.
Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. They have been seen together on multiple occasions, and I've seen online mentions that Tom was either at his wedding or at the very least was invited. Tom has been accused of using the N-word multiple times in private conversations, including these screenshots of texts that are alleged to be real.
Is this supposed to matter, like, at all? Like, this is just straight up a nothing sandwich. That screenshot is from 6 years ago, okay? Turkey Tom was 15 years old. Surely that does not... Like, how does that matter? Like, you can't actually be seriously trying to use this as an argument. You bring it up from 6 years ago, first of all, and not only that, he's 15 years old when it happens. His brain's barely even developed. Have you ever been to a school? Seriously? Like, obviously this guy has just no friends and he's never had a friend in his life. I've had, and I still do have, some unhinged friends who say the N-word just out of a joke. It's not in my control. They can do what they want. I'm not gonna ghost them for life if I find out that they said the N-word when they were 15 years old. Like, oh my god, exposed. Like, if you want to call Wendigoon a racist, then use actual fucking evidence that ties him to that. I'm going to try and cut this down a little bit because it goes on for so long, but basically he just says, like, Wendigoon is friends with all these bad people. Well, not actually bad people. He's just doing the exact same thing to them, pulling crazy evidence, making insane accusations against people for some serious stuff, and then tying Wendigoon to it because apparently if he's friends with them, that means he supports their beliefs. People have different opinions. It doesn't mean that you're racist because you're friends with the guy that said the N-word when he was 15 years old. Like, this is just, like, the more I say this out loud, the more crazy it sounds. Like, oh... Hold your horses there, Wendigoon. How come you're friends with that guy? You know, that's kind of makes you look bad. You probably shouldn't be friends with him. And then he goes on to say that he's friends with Brandon Buckingham, another YouTuber that I don't know. And the picture that he uses to show Brandon Buckingham just so happens to be a picture of him with his grandpa who was dying at the hospital or something like that. Which is just so disgusting. I actually can't believe what I'm seeing here. But basically accuses Brandon Buckingham of the R word, which is just such a reach. Like, seriously, we need a reach counter on this video because I'm starting to lose track.
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening rape.
And what he's referring to is a tweet that Brandon made when him and Sneeko were beefing. They were in a beef together and he said something like running a train on his girl like she did last time. Like, there's literally not a single threat of any of that. He did no research on it at all. All he did was heard what Sneeko said and accused Brandon of rape.
He is friends with Oompaville, a gun-obsessed content creator that has taken advantage of Nikado Avocado's mental decline for fame and for money.
Oh my god, like, this guy has lost his freaking mind here. Anyone knows who Nikado Avocado is? Which, like, come on, like, this guy knows what he's doing. There's no way you can be that stupid. Like, if you know Nikado, you know that he's just playing a character. There's no mental decline. He does what gives him the attention that he wants. Like, yeah, it's stupid. He's literally eating himself to death for attention, but Oompaville is not taking advantage of him. Nikado willingly signed up for those videos, and I actually saw a clip of Nikado stating that he actually enjoyed being with Oompaville. Like, he enjoyed making those videos. He loved it. Like, he loved Oompaville. Like, this is just straight up cap. Worst argument ever. He knows what he's doing here. Like, clearly he just doesn't like Wendigoon out of jealousy because he's just a massive brokey. Like, congrats, dude. You basically just hit the delete button on your channel. There's no coming back from this at all. How does this guy even have that many subscribers? Speaking of subscribing, you should subscribe to see more of this. So this dummy posted a giant thread on Twitter apologizing for all the stuff he said. Except he doesn't actually apologize. Instead, he just doubles down on everything, saying like, oh, sorry, I should have said it differently, but everything I said is still true. Everything that he says in this is just recycled back to what he said This is the most pointless thing you can write. I think the only thing he genuinely apologizes for is using the photo of Brandon Buckingham's dying grandpa. He's like, yeah, I shouldn't have used the picture of your dying grandpa, but I still think you're a rapist, so yeah, sorry about that. Oh, and Wendigoon is too, because he's friends with you. And then he goes all Suki baby mode after Brandon just claps back at him on Twitter with the ultimate roast. Hey, praise shadows. Going through every one of Wendigoon's friends and insulting them to try and paint him in a bad light makes you seem like a desperate and pathetic freak. You seem like you have low testosterone. It could be making you moody. Try exercising and shooting guns. Boom! What a hit marker by Brandon there. Absolute zinger. This reply is just funny as. I love it. So yeah, great shot by Brandon here. And man, he did not like it at all. Like, he shooks about it saying, oh, you can't use homophobic language against me. This is mean. You using homophobic language to me, though, in calling me a low testosterone freak does not change my opinions about you. My base thoughts remain the same, even though I should have said them differently and not let that cloud my writing. Which, correct me if I'm wrong here, just saying someone has low testosterone and calling them moody, is that homophobic? Like, how is that a homophobic insult in any way, shape, or form? Brandon claps back with, after spreading false accusations that I threatened to rape someone, this guy is now claiming I am homophobic because I said he seems like he has low testosterone. You are such a fucking victim. I watched your entire video and will be making a detailed response. Enjoy your month off. Brandon's just completely shedding light on how stupid this guy is here, just saying, what are you talking about, you absolute fucking weirdo? And yeah, I agree. Brandon has every right to say all this stuff about him, and he's just gonna sook about it. Like, he's getting so mad about getting called out, and he just still continues to double down on it. He's not apologizing for anything. He's not sorry. He's only sorry that he's getting called out, and even then, he just wants it to go away, which is just not going to happen. This is just not how the internet works. You need to sit down with the camera and apologize genuinely for every single thing that you did. Don't say but, no ifs, buts, or whats about it. Like, just do it. And even then, people are still going to hate you. Like, your career on YouTube's over. Just give up. Get a real job. Seriously. Like, he says this to every single response. Like, oh, people are saying such horrible things to me. This is totally not okay. Like, bro, welcome to the internet, you absolute fucking idiots. This guy would not last a second in a COD lobby. I can't even think of how to describe how just utterly stupid this guy is. Like, my words won't even form together properly. He basically claims, you know, a bunch of all the followers of all these people are like calling him the F slur and a bunch of like bad things to him, like saying really homophobic stuff to him. Like, dude, if you're gonna make a 3-hour video slandering a bunch of people, expect them to clap back. And if they've got a following, expect them to go even harder, because that's how the internet works. And he knows that. He's just trying to use this. Everyone seems to do that. Everyone plays the victim when they've done something wrong. Like, oh, I'm getting death threats. I'm getting death threats that, you know, I said all this bad stuff. Yeah, because you did something horrible, and that's just how if you don't like it, get off Twitter. Which he did, so, you know, vouch for that. Usually I don't get this heated about a situation, but I just can't help but get so riled up about the absolute ignorance of this complete buffoon. Like, in his mind, everything you say and do in any point of your life can and will be used against you. But that doesn't count for him, because apparently we're taking things out of context, making him look bad. That's just stupid. There's also this part of the video that I missed because it's 3 hours long and I don't have time for all that, but he basically says that anyone who is from this area called Appalachia is racist because 80% of the people there are white.
Deep Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist. Genuinely, in this part of the country, you have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise. I care deeply about horror, and everything that he does has demonstrated so far in his career that he should not be welcomed in our spaces, or even, you know, just in public in general.
Basically, he literally says, if you're from a white area, you know, just by chance, you are literally racist and you should be banned from public spaces. Saying that Wendigoon should be banned from public spaces because he's from Appalachia is insane. What the fuck? If you're from Appalachia, please stop watching this video right now, because I don't want to be known as a racist, because apparently if I'm friends with racists, if I associate with any person who's white, I'm racist. God damn it. Guys, I'm actually from Australia, which is a majority white country. Does that mean I'm racist? Damn it. I knew it. I guess I'll just be banned from public spaces. Yeah, I get that. It makes sense. Like, this is just such a wild statement. Like, yeah, he literally just threw his apology in the bin here. But yeah, he just waffles on, sooking about how everyone's calling him the F slur and roasting him and calling him bad names like wah, dude. Seriously, like, dude, people are saying that because your video is arse. Okay, your takes suck None of it makes sense. It's just complete bullshit, and you're not even apologizing for it. You're just doubling down on everything. His whole argument is basically Wendigoon wears shirts and is friends with relatively normal people. In my opinion, this is the part where he just completely destroys himself. I made this video to say that even if Wendigoon did not harbor hate, that his base was made of it and that he was comfortable making money from that. And I think that point stands true and has now been proven, and it's now time to end this. So he basically just doubles down on everything and says that everything he said about Wendigoon is still basically true, and that his whole persona is based off of all of this hate. Like, I don't understand why you would say this. This is not an apology. This is you just saying, like, this is how you ruin your reputation completely. If you don't apologize, if you actually say, yeah, nah, like, this is true. Like, even after thousands of people telling him that this is wrong and this is hateful and this is slander, he still says, you know, this was true. I might have just said it wrong or wrote what I said wrong. It might have come out wrong, but it's still true. That is not what we're trying to ask from you. We're not trying to figure out if you said it wrong. We're trying to understand why you would say it and if you are actually apologetic, which clearly you're not, and you know, you're just done. There's some other stuff that I missed that I want to talk about. He called this guy, this YouTuber, transphobic because of a thumbnail that he made of a trans person, I think.
He is friends with Mutahar, who argued against Andrew Tate being deplatformed from social media websites, and has recently showcased a great deal of transphobia in his most recent video.
And in the apology, he goes and says, just straight up, yeah, your thumbnail is transphobic and there's nothing else to say. Doesn't elaborate, doesn't explain why he thinks that. He just says, yeah, you're like, that is insane. My brain is rotting away from this whole situation. So yeah, this whole thread is basically just him saying sorry and then doubling down on everything, which is just completely pointless. And then this guy at the bottom just replies, retard alert, which I actually burst out laughing when I read this. I even think that he made a official proper apology where he does actually sound quite apologetic. All I will say is he put it behind a paywall for his Patreons only, which, you know, totally just sums up who he is as a person. Only apologizing to his Patreons. He doesn't even have the morality to actually genuinely apologize to everyone who actually needs to hear it. He only wants to apologize to his Patreons, which of course we've got screenshots of. Like, seriously, what do you think was going to happen? Obviously, I feel bad because this guy, I think he only does YouTube as a job, which if you're only making $500 in a month from YouTube, why are you going full time? Like, get yourself a real job, get your life together, because this is just sad. Like, this is just what chronic Reddit use does to a motherfucker. Like, seriously, this guy's done. So I watched quite a lot of commentary channels to understand this whole situation. Obviously, I didn't dive too deep into it. There's other people that did. Make sure you check them out. I definitely missed a few things. I only wanted to talk about the things that I found really entertaining and funny, like him starting off the entire segment of his deleted part of the video saying that Wendigoon is rich and famous, and he just is super salty about the whole thing. I just find that absolutely hilarious, and then he just goes on to say the most outrageous political stuff I've ever heard in my entire life. But anyway, I don't want to bore you with a 3-hour long video like this in praise of Shadows, guys. So yeah, thanks for checking me out. See ya.